Hello, this is Hope Kaya of SantaFeWebDesign.net, and this is the Web Strategies Buffet. And my advice to you is to treat this talk as if it were a buffet and use discretion about what you consume and what you take home and what you use. You don't want to feel like you have to eat everything. And you want to have a sense of what will work for your business's palette, right? So just see what you resonate with as we proceed with this talk, because you can't use everything anyway, and you want to have a sense of what would work best for you. And here are some of the dishes we will sample together. And just open your mind, relax. Don't, as I said, don't feel like you have to do everything. Just a little bit about me. I am a recovering Search Deadly web designer. In 1998, I started designing websites professionally in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I did a lot of what we call brochure sites for artists and creatives and freelancers, where you would have to hand somebody your business card with the domain name on it for them to find your website. Or put an ad in the yellow pages or an ad in the paper. Otherwise, if they were Googling, their likelihood would be that they wouldn't find the website. And that was okay at the time, but luckily I quickly learned about search engine optimization, and I have to admit I kind of learned about it against my will. The backstory there is that my father was the director for marketing research at Time Life for quite a while, until Life magazine folded, and it was very much like the Mad Men show in my childhood vision of it at the time. And so advertising really turned me off, and when I found myself in the position to become a web designer, I wasn't thinking marketing, I wasn't thinking advertising, I wasn't thinking search engines, and my websites reflected that. But I did learn about search engine optimization kind of holding my nose. I had a client that wanted it, and she paid me to learn. It was a really wonderful experience, and the poor woman had to put up with me being somewhat negative about the whole marketing thing. So I luckily learned a lot and started applying these techniques to my websites, and it worked, and I wrote a book about it, and it's called The Keyword Tutorial Ebook, and it won an award. And basically the idea behind the book is that you can read the book, print out the worksheets, fill them out, give them to your web designer, and have a website that will actually be found in Google. And it's getting old, but it's still accurate. I'm kind of shocked by that, and it's still selling. So I recommend that you get it. It's only $15. Now, since then, all the websites that I build show up in Google, and some very quickly. And depending on how much the owner of the website does some of these things I'm teaching you today, especially blogging, they stay there. And my mission for you today is to move you from being any of these things that most of us are in relation to web marketing into a more hopeful place, okay? And maybe you're already hopeful and excited, great, but I know a lot of us are overwhelmed. I'm one of them, and it takes a little doing to distill this subject down to bite-sized pieces and digestible dishes, so I hope you will feel that I've done that by the end of this talk. Now, this video is so interesting. It's a little old. I don't know, it's a year old, a year and a half old or something now, and but it's fascinating, and it's only a couple minutes long, so I highly recommend that you watch it. It'll just impact you with what's happening on the internet now, if you need any impacting. And today we're just going to cover the tip of the iceberg of web marketing and skim the top of the water. So once again, you will have the opportunity to decide which of these things you want to pursue. So let's look at the history a little bit of the web. And some of these platforms, well, all of these platforms that you're looking at, all of these websites and businesses were involved in the first launch of the website, of the internet, and they're basically about publishing, right? So they publish information for the consumer to consume. So it's kind of outgoing one way, right? Then the next wave was Web 2.0. And Facebook and LinkedIn, for example, were born during those years, and they were born to be interactive. In fact, they were born to be content supplied by the users. So it's very different. And they were designed to be interactive from the beginning. And now, of course, the Web 1.0 companies are trying to retrofit themselves into Web 2.0, and they're doing okay. And Google Plus and so on. But it seems to work best when you were designed at the beginning as in a particular way. And the next way being what you might call 3.0, Web 3.0, but it would be all mobile. And in which case you would have to say it's really not Web 3.0 because it's not the web, it's largely mobile. Like Instagram, right, was developed for mobile. And now, of course, the Web 2.0 companies are trying to retrofit into mobile. And it's just going to be amazing to see, I think, how all of these companies manage to move into the next level. This article is fascinating about this subject. It really gives you a perspective on what might happen in the next 5-10 years or so. So when we talk about web marketing, we're talking about building trust. Back in the day when there weren't that many websites and you could post a website and have a buy now button or join my email list without offering much value, you didn't have to be building as much trust as you do now. Now, most of your efforts online are about building trust in your knowledge, in your product, in how safe you are to work with, what other people think of you. So you're really spending much more time developing your presence and how that is perceived than you are actually trying to sell. And the selling is the last part of the flow. So in order to do this right, you have to identify who your ideal customer is. And many people make the mistake of thinking their ideal customer is the whole world. And I'm just here to kind of burst that bubble and suggest that if you haven't already, you really spend some time. You might even start by looking at who your best customers are now and just write down their attributes. And then try to think about that in terms of your ideal customer and make a list of all these aspects of who they are so that you can fish with a small net. Because if you fish with too large of a net, you're going to be competing with, there are lots of problems with trying to attract a much wider group than you need, right? One being, what if you got them and you couldn't handle it? But that's usually not the problem, because more often than not, the competition for a really wide audience is going to be big corporate money, and you can't really compete with that. And my clients don't need to. They're freelancers, they're writers, they're artists, they're creatives, very small business owners. And their competition is not big corporate America, it's other freelancers. And as of now, most of the other freelancers and small businesses don't know a lot about search engine optimization and web marketing. So if you do, you're kind of ahead of the game really quickly. That's why that's why I wrote my book, because it doesn't take much if you're a freelancer to compete with other freelancers at this point. So you really want to fish with a small net. And you want to imagine what your ideal customer is searching for, okay? And you want to make a list of what you think your ideal customer is searching for, okay? So think about and write down all the attributes of your ideal client in terms of what you think they're searching for as well as their attributes. Okay, and then we're going to go into knowing what to do with the phrases you think your ideal customer is searching for. And that brings us to search engine optimization. And I use the shrimp icon for this, the shrimp dish, because in my opinion, for freelancers and small businesses, SEO is the easiest way to get on page 1 of Google, in the sense that you don't have to do much if you are a very small business, especially if you're local. And that will change as people catch on, but for now, you really don't have to do much. And that may be my opinion, because I know all the options, and for you it might feel like a lot, but once it's done, there's just some maintenance things you have to do, and you're there. And the biggest mistake I would say most of us make in relation to websites is thinking that if we build it, they will come. And that's not true, right? If you build it, they will not come unless you really research what your ideal customer is searching for, and then you know how to work that into your website, into your blogging, into your social media, and engage and catch those searches so that they can find you. But what is search engine optimization? It's just the use of techniques to improve your ranking with Google, Yahoo, Bing. I'm pretty Google-centric since it's got such a huge market share. Forgive me if I just talk about Google most of the time here. So you have to find the phrases that your ideal customer is searching for and engage and incorporate those phrases in your website and web presence in various ways. And you have to know what to do, what not to do. There is white hat search engine optimization, and there is black hat search engine optimization. And you probably have heard of or maybe tried some black hat techniques. The idea being overall that search engines are brilliant, and their algorithms are getting more and more sophisticated, like Google, all the time. And they can sniff out when you're doing tricks to raise your ranking, as opposed to just gaining relevance by putting relevant content on your website for your clients. So as you build your website, if you think that you might be penalized by a search engine for what you're doing, just think, does this gain value for my viewers, or is it just for search engines? If it's just for search engines, I say you're likely to be penalized, and if not now, later, because they get smarter and smarter. And I'll give you some examples, okay? Obvious example, you're selling Santa Fe jewelry, and you have a white website with a white background, right? And you put in white text Santa Fe jewelry 1,000 times so that the reader can't view it, but the search engine can view it. And search engines will penalize you for that. If you have 1,000 links to your website from other junky websites that you might call link farms, because all they are is thousands of links to other websites, and they don't have any value for a reader, it's not like any reader would go to that website and read all those links, right? Then you're likely to get penalized. And remind me, well, I'll tell you now about blogging. You don't want your blog to be on an external site that's not inside your domain, unless you're not linking very often to your own website from the blog. That's potentially an issue. That's just one of many. But the white hat techniques are just relevancy, using content to improve the value of your site to your reader. And you can do things like link from one page to another with a keyword that's appropriate to link to and from, to link from to another page. And if that's relevant and valuable to your reader, then search engines won't penalize you for it as a rule. So you want to be thinking in terms of, am I just doing a trick here, or is this adding value? And it might be both, but if it's adding value to the reader, then it's not likely to be penalized. So I want to give you an example of a site without search engine optimization. And if you search for inflatable art, you might want to find a site like Jeff Koons' site. He's a very famous artist, and not that he does much in the way of real inflatable art. It looks like inflatable art, but you might want to find work like his, right? If you're searching for inflatable art. But if you do, you won't find him. You will find other websites because he hasn't done any keyword work on his website for the phrase inflatable art. In fact, he's done no search engine optimization. And I haven't checked it lately, but I think it's probably still the same. If you search for untitled document, you will get millions of results. And the first one is usually Jeff Koons now. I think he's up to #1. If you build a website in Dreamweaver and a page on your site doesn't have a title, you don't give it a title, Dreamweaver will title it untitled document. That's why there are so many millions of pages that come up when you search for untitled document, because the people that built the pages didn't put titles in, and they built it in Dreamweaver, and this is Dreamweaver's default. So Jeff Koons shows up #1 now, I think, because he's so famous. But this doesn't help him, because if you're searching for untitled document, which nobody is, first off, you certainly wouldn't be looking for Jeff Koons or for his type of art. So I just wanted to sort of give you a sense in this way from how not to do it about search engines. So you want to find out what people are searching for, your ideal customer is searching for. And I recommend that you go to the heart of Google. And this URL that I'm sharing with you is what I consider to be the heart of Google. It's the Google AdWords keyword tool. It's free. You don't even have to have an account with Google, but I recommend that you do have an account with Google for many reasons. And so you go to that URL and you will see a page like this. Now, I am a Joomla developer, which means I build websites using Joomla, which is kind of like WordPress. And so I also teach Joomla, because every time I launch a new client, I teach them how to update their website. And I usually make a video for them, and I upload it to YouTube. And I either make it public or private. And so they're all about how to update your site with Joomla. So I was thinking, what should I name my YouTube channel? And so I did put in this field, in the Google AdWords keyword tool, Joomla. And I saw that millions of people are searching for Joomla, and the same number are searching for Joomla how-to. Now, I could have named my Facebook page Joomla Tips, right? But it turns out Joomla How-To has a huge volume of searchers. And I already had a Joomla blog on my website, and I changed it to Joomla How-To. So I now am using this information to name my blog Joomla How-To and to name my Facebook page Joomla How-To. And then I put the new videos up there, okay? So that's what you do. You put the phrase in the field that you think your customer is searching for. Let me go back. And then you can sort of scroll down, and usually Google will give you a bunch of results, much more than, you know, the phrase that you put in. Like, this was an additional result Google put in there for me to see that people are searching for Joomla How-To. And there are zillions of other results that I could have scrolled down and shown you. But just to give you this idea that when you use this tool, take advantage of the results that Google gives you. And then your web designer is going to be able to know how to do this, how to get your ideal keyword into your domain name, right? Sorry, your domain name, right? That is the most powerful place to put the best. So you find your best keyword and you put it in your domain name. If you already have a business domain name, you can shift things around so that the really good keyword domain name is the root level, and your business one that you use for marketing and advertising is pointed with a 301 redirect to your new domain name. And This is just great for search engines is what I'm saying. And these other places, you can tell your web designer, I need my keywords here. And your web designer may say, well, you need to come up with body copy with that keyword and show me where it would be bolded or italicized. And your header tags, you show me. And so you would work together on this, right? And then you would get your keywords in all the right places. Yeah. And yes, if you can get people to link to you from their website using a keyword like Santa Fe jewelry, you wouldn't want them to link to you using www.malingajewelry.com, because unless everybody knows about Malinga Jewelry, in which case you wouldn't need to be listening to this talk, they're likely to be searching for Santa Fe jewelry. So you would be better off having santafejewelry.com as a domain name than the name of your business if it's not a keyword-based business name, which is also always a great idea if you can do it. I wanted to show you a really good use of keywords in a website. Okay, first off, this is commissionart.net, and Becky Benet is a brilliant copper textile artist. This is copper textile you're looking at here. It's beautiful work she does. And she's most interested in commission pieces, you know, getting commission work. So we got the domain name commissionart.net for her, right? 70,000+ people a month are searching for commission art. And so that was great, right? But she does a lot more than commissioned art. So in the left side navigation, we did we named all the different categories of her work, but we thought about what people are searching for, and we looked it up in the Google AdWords keyword tool: affordable art, commissioned art, and all these other categories, right? So we now have links on every page for using keywords, and they're linking to sections of her website that are optimized for those phrases, because those phrases are put in the places that I just showed you on the previous screen. So it's just a really good example of a use of keywords on a website, okay? Now, you want people to link to you. Google does like it when you have links to your website. And we want the links to be real. You don't want them to be junky links from link farms that are just lists of links, right? So you have to ask people to link to you if you can do it. If your clients would do it, maybe strategic partners that are in your field, other bloggers, people on Twitter, Facebook, right? So then you want to link to yourself using keywords. And this, I have to say, is my preferred technique, in the sense that none of my clients have time to do much other than run their businesses or make their art, right? So the minimum I have found is to have a blog and to link from their blog posts to pages on their site using keywords, from a blog post to another blog post, using those navigation. Now remember, on Becky Benet's site on the left column, those are navigation links. You click on affordable art, it goes to the gallery that's for affordable art on her website, and people are searching for affordable art. So your navigation is a great place for keywords. And you can, you know, put your links in all your social media, everywhere you can. And you want to use a keyword phrase as a link, right? So let's say you're linking from a blog post to your Santa Fe jewelry photo gallery. You would not say, see my gallery, and highlight that phrase and link to the jewelry gallery. You would say, see my Santa Fe jewelry gallery, and you would highlight Santa Fe jewelry gallery, or photo gallery, Santa Fe jewelry photo gallery, and then you would link to your Santa Fe jewelry photo gallery. So when people are searching for Santa Fe jewelry, then they're likely, this website is very likely actually to come up, and you're much more likely to get your ideal customer to find you. So I've got this teaspoon here because this is, as I say, the minimum effort you need to do once you get on page 1 of Google for a given keyword to stay there. And I have clients that get there with a really good domain name, and then they just start dropping down, down, down because they don't do any blogging. So blogging, key. And of course, as I said earlier, your domain name. This is my favorite. I mean, this is the most sort of power punched way to land on page 1 of Google, and you stay there with blogging. So once again, if your business is Malinga Jewelry, you might have a domain name, malingajewelry.com, but you would want santafejewelry.com or .net or .biz or .us to be your domain name. Now, a lot of people have purchased domain names like santafejewelry.com, but they've purchased them to resell and they're not using them. So you'll see on GoDaddy maybe that you can go to an auction for that domain name. Well, if that domain name is not being used, it's not competition for you, right? So you can get santafejewelry.us and do just as well as if you had santafejewelry.com. Now, if somebody eventually buys santafejewelry.com, then they have a chance to get up above you, but .com doesn't impress Google more than .us or .biz or whatever. Google doesn't care. So you'll have had all that time to build up your presence online and impress Google, right? And stay on page 1 even if somebody else buys the .com later. So that's my approach. And some people just buy them all up. Okay, my clients don't want to be paying, even if it's $10 a year, and then privacy on top of it. So 20 times what? 20 domain, hundreds of dollars. It's a lot of money for my clients. So if you can do it, great. If not, I don't do it. I don't think you have to. So think about your questions about search engine optimization, and you know what you should do? Google them. And take a break and come back. So pay-per-click campaigns. I've given them the icon of a hot dog because I don't like hot dogs and I don't really like pay-per-click campaigns, and my clients don't either. Which isn't to say there aren't people that I know who benefit enormously from pay-per-click campaigns. They take a lot of time, a lot of attention, and a lot of money for them to work right. And if you have those, then great, go for it. This is an old example I've been using for years, and it's really kind of irrelevant because China Star isn't in business anymore in Santa Fe. But I want to show you where the pay-per-click ads show up. So basically, pay-per-click is when you pay Google or Yahoo or Bing, and I'm talking about Google now, to show up on top, on page 1 of Google for a given keyword phrase. So Santa Fe Chinese food is what I Googled, and these 2 ads came up. The first one cracks me up because it's Bing who's trying to funnel traffic from Google to Bing. Okay, so it's Microsoft that's trying to siphon traffic off of Google to Bing. And on the right-hand side is the China Star. And they wanted to show up when you Google Chinese food and you're in this local area. And the good thing about pay-per-click ads is that you can say only show up when the search is done in this area. So you're not wasting your money on your ad showing up in areas where people aren't going to be coming to your restaurant, right? So if you look at the Google Map results here, you'll see that the China Star did not show up. And China Star wasn't trying to show up in what we call the organic search results, which are the search results that are not paid for, which are the kind that I help my clients with. China Star said, I just want to pay. I just want to pay, and I'll show up there, and that's what I care about. And that's how they handle it. And they're out of business, but I don't think that's necessarily the reason. I just wanted to show you this. So email marketing is our next topic. And I use the crab because my customers get really crabby around email marketing. And I need to teach them about it because it's so valuable. Of all the web marketing techniques, the one with an enormous advantage in terms of return on investment is email marketing. Nothing makes more money for via web marketing than email marketing. Okay, and this is a slide from a video that we watched earlier, the one I recommended to you earlier. And once again, I totally recommend that you watch this video. When you do email marketing, which is sending out messages via email to a bulk audience about your business, you need to use a good service provider like one of these. I use Aweber. And MailChimp, more and more of my customers are using it because it's free. For their level of email marketing, almost all of them can use MailChimp for free. And if you use a reputable email service provider like those, and there are others, they will help you not get flagged as a spammer. And that's really important. You do not want to be sending like 1,000 BCC addresses in an email from your computer, because you will get snagged in the spam filters. And you want to use confirmed opt-in, which means when you sign people up for your newsletter, they have to confirm that, yes, I want to be a member. You don't just sign them up without confirmed opt-in. If you do, you are more likely to get caught as a spammer. They help you design your mailings. I mean, they have templates. It makes life much easier. They automate the subscription and the unsubscription, which you have to have. I mean, you don't want to be responsible every time. You don't want people emailing you saying, take me off this list. You want them to click on the unsubscribe link that comes with the email and just unsubscribe. And these email services track the effectiveness of your messages, how many people click through, and so on. It's very useful. But in order to get people to sign up, you have to sell it. You have to sell the sign up. And you just can't expect people, when you say join my mailing list, to join. We all get way too much email. We need reasons to join. Get a free report, gain access to a private video, get special discounts. Okay, so you need to give to get in email marketing. Okay, and then you have to think about what to write about. And education is great, useful information, not my business is so wonderful because, but rather if you use this tip. I do a lot of tips because of web design, and my clients and my email newsletter, people are interested in tips. So education is a great thing to do. Early bird sales, discounts, be careful not to bait and switch. You'll have a subject in your email, and the subject should be juicy so that people will click on it and open it and read it, but it has to be realistic. You can't, bait and switch. Here's a good, speaking of bait and no switch, this is an example from the Web Marketing All-in-One for Dummies. It's kind of getting old now, but I like the example still. So there's a guy, I'm assuming guy, who has a fishing website, and he takes people on fishing trips, and he makes lures. So he has a newsletter, and he sent out, huge trout caught in Colorado. And he has a tiny thumbnail of a big fish, and then click to see the full picture. So smart, right? Because all the people reading his newsletter are going to want to see the fish. They're all fishing maniacs. So they go to his website. Next thing they know, they're being given offers for a trip and lures, and the next trip sold out instantly because of this mailing technique that he used. Without email marketing, you really lose a lot of opportunity to grow your prospect list. I mean, if you have a form on your website and it's, get this free report when you join our mailing list, you're garnering people's email addresses without doing any work at this point. Then you can build the trust by submitting information to them via the newsletter that really gains your, shows your wisdom, shows your professional appeal and your products. It lets you expand your presence as an expert in your field and notify clients of special deals, etc., and compete with the peers who don't use email marketing or do use email marketing. So just a little tip I wanted to give you. This is my website, and this is the form you see when you go to my website. At least it is now. I'm not sure if it'll change soon, but it's a pop-up. And some people don't like pop-ups, and I don't love them. But I can say that this one was classier looking than any of the others I saw at the time that I was getting an email newsletter provider. And Aweber had it, and I thought, okay, if I'm going to do a pop-up, because I knew they have better results than non-pop-ups, I want to do it in as classy a way as I can. So I pay 20 bucks a month, really, for this pop-up. Now, maybe that MailChimp has a good one. MailChimp calls this the evil pop-up, and because it's unpopular with readers, but I think probably MailChimp's pop-up is more evil than mine, because I think Aweber's is classier, but that may have changed by now. So I do recommend that you use a pop-up if you can, because you will get more results. Think about your questions for email marketing and Google them. Online press releases. So I use the Sleeping Chilies because online press releases can be a hot way to go, but it's not used very much. It's kind of asleep. And actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking there are other techniques that are more valuable. But this statistic here really caught my attention, which is that journalists hugely prefer email press releases to snail mail press releases. Hugely prefer it, and totally you can see why, right? Email press release, you can click through to the headshot, you can click through to the Facebook. You're not like having to type into your computer to find things about this person. It's all right there. So if you are going to do a press release, you definitely want to be doing an email press release. Don't even think about a snail mail press release. And the benefits of press releases are, it is cheaper than advertising. It adds credibility if someone else writes about you, and it can give you links back to your website, enhancing your search engine optimization. You want to use a PR firm, unless you're just going to do like a few locally, which you could do yourself. You could use a PR firm like PR Web. And they are like email service providers, email newsletter providers, in that they can have templates to help you write your press release, and they will help you notice if you've written it in a wrong way. They did that for me, where I did a press release and I used PR Web, and I was writing in too salesy a way, and I needed to be more informative and less salesy, and they stopped it from going out and said, let's help you get this right. So it's very useful, especially if you're new in the press release world. And this is an interesting point. You know, when you do an online press release, it's as easy to make it national as local. And if there is something in your press release that has value potentially beyond your borders of your county or your state or your town, and if it does get press, think about what the local press is going to do. Right? Let's say you get national press. Do you think the local press will cover you? I think so. And you can select regions, so you're not paying for a press release that goes beyond what you need. And they archive your releases, so you can get a call from a journalist years after you have done your press release. This is a press release I did about a talk a couple of years ago using PR Web. And they sent me an analysis of how many people had seen it and how many people had read it. It didn't seem to help me all that much, but I think if you do it, you need to be doing it regularly and not just once. So when you do a press release, you think about what you can write about. And surveys are apparently really popular with journalists, and there are survey websites that are free that you can create surveys. In Facebook, you can create a poll. And if you get results, newspapers tend to like it. Of course, something tied into a local event, good deeds in the community. You can do new products, but it has to address a need, not just our new product, you know. It has to have appeal. Company milestones, you know, but once again, be careful about your milestones unless they have an effect on the community. You have questions about press releases? PR Web has a great, I think, resource there. So you can go to their help area, or you can just Google your question. Or ask a friend. So blogging. I do breakfast for blogging because it's the most important meal of the day, but also the first thing you do, ideally. And as I said before, it's how I keep my clients on page 1 of Google, is blogging. You know, if they were competing nationally, they have to do more than that. But for local freelancers, competing with other local freelancers, blogging is plenty, as a rule. So blogging is short for weblog. You can use various platforms to build your blog, and they're all free. Joomla is the one I use and love. Cool things about blogging is it archives your content. Now, every time you add a new blog post, the old blog post is pushed down and the new one takes its place, but the old blog post doesn't go away. It's just archived. And that means your site is getting fatter and fatter and fatter every time you put a new blog post up. And that means that you have more and more content, and search engines love content. And think about it, every time you write a blog post, you have a better chance of somebody searching for what you're writing about, finding you. So you want to write about things that, you know, would interest your ideal customer. So your site's getting fatter and fatter, and your ideal customer is more likely to find you. Blogs are easy to update, not like regular HTML, right? And they allow and encourage your distinctive natural voice, which is very compelling, especially in a world where we are all overwhelmed by sales pitches, right? We want the real thing. And then every blog post becomes its own web page, which is great for search engines. But what to blog about? This is an interesting book by Ann Handley, who was recently interviewed by John Jantsch on Commit to Act, his Commit to Act interview series. And she's saying the most important thing is to tell your personal story and the backstory for your business. Destiny Allison is a great example of that in Santa Fe. She is very prolific online with her blogs and her Facebook pages, and she does share her personal stories, and it brings a lot of attention to her online. Frequently asked questions is a fantastic way to do a blog. You know, think about if you're stumped about what to write about, but you've been answering questions of your clients ever since you opened your business. And they're the same questions over and over, right? So you've got this enormous content in your head waiting to go. So just when somebody asks you a question, just make a note and add it to your blog and answer the question. This one cracked me up. She was saying FUQs, and she didn't mean it the way it sounded, but I think it has value in 2 different ways. One, frequently unasked questions is what she meant. And so there are questions your clients don't ask you, which they should ask you, so that you can answer them before it becomes a problem down the road, right? I have to answer that. My clients won't really ask me how important is blogging. I have to make it very clear about that beforehand. And then there's the FUQ in terms of people being angry at you, right? If they are, posting some unhappy review somewhere, you have to respond and write about it. You don't have to blog about it, but you definitely want to be responding. And if you have commenting on your blogs, then you can respond in the commenting function too. Now, interviewing your customer and making them the hero is a really interesting idea. You've already got a relationship going. And if they're starting to do well and you interview them and you put the interview on your blog, I mean, that gives a boost to them, gives a boost to your blog, and they're likely to point their friends to the interview, maybe link to it from their Facebook page. You know, it's a wonderful way to go, and it just kills so many birds with one stone in terms of, you know, building trust and support and goodwill and appreciation, right? So you want to use, if you're going to put photos up there, you don't want to be using stock imagery. We have to stay authentic here, right? In order to keep the attention of our readers, because we're all overwhelmed with junk. So Destiny Allison created a blog for her book. She has a new book called Shaping Destiny, A Quest for Meaning and Art in Life. And just so you know, part of her reason for that tagline on her book, that subtitle, was search engines, because people are searching for the meaning in art and life. And so she just posts her information on her blog. And just to tell you, many years ago I built Destiny's metal art website, and within a month somebody came to Santa Fe and Googled Santa Fe metal art, and Destiny's blog came up, which linked through to her website, and the website paid for itself that weekend. She sold 2 pieces, and she says it's still paying for itself over and over and over and over and over. So it's great. Part of it's because she's blogging, right? So this is her blog for her new book, which is a great book, by the way. And this is interesting. I thought what she did was you can get email notification when she adds new posts. And that's so smart. I need to do that. It's so smart because you don't want to be going to Destiny's blog and checking, and she's not blogging every day by any means. So you want to be notified, and then you don't have to go back and check. It's a great, great, great way to go. Without blogging, you really kind of, unless you don't need to be on page 1 of Google, or for other reasons you're there because thousands of people are linking to you, or because you're the only one that offers what you have, you really lose a lot. You can drop like a rock in search ranking when you don't have a blog. And if you have questions about blogging, one of them I just want to repeat is it's best if your blog lives under your own domain name instead of having a website and then WordPress.something blog or a Blogger blog. You want it to live under your own domain name, because if you do use it for search engine optimization, you do want to be linking back to your pages on your website. And if you are doing that a lot, you will be penalized unless your website lives, your blog lives under the same domain as your website. Okay, take a break and come on back for mobile marketing. So, it's the next thing, right? So I have Twitter on my smartphone, and it's kind of cool because it lets you right away find all of your contacts, which ones have Twitter accounts, and then I just followed all of them. It's an easy way to instantly find all your friends on Twitter. And then you can just go to your Twitter feed on your mobile phone and see what's happening. See, I clicked follow all. Now, mobile marketing is supposed to exceed web marketing. Mobile searches are supposed to exceed web searches really soon. And mobile usage is supposed to exceed web usage very soon, like within the next couple of years. And these stats, you know, we're going into the future now. We're really there already, but this talk is just giving you a sense of the importance of being prepared to go into the mobile world. Interesting, women 35 to 54 most active. Yes, YouTube is over the top. Amazing. Twitter, I think that's interesting. 50% of them use Twitter mobile. So half of the Twitter users are on mobile. That's cool. A third of Facebook. When you're on mobile, and this I do all the time, if I'm in a restaurant and I'm having a good time, like yesterday, I was at a restaurant with a friend and I checked into the Facebook on my smartphone, and it said, "Who are you with?" And my friend is on Facebook, so I was able to add her to the post, and it links through to her Facebook. and just shared a little bit about what a good time we were having. And it's a great little pitch for businesses that you want to promote, and it's goodwill, and they love it, right? So you just go to the application and you click the check-in, and you check in and you make a little note. Now Google Plus so Google's moving into the mobile world, and I posted a link to the video that I watched that convinced me to join Google Plus, and it's pretty funny. I would love to share it with you, but if you can Google what is Google Plus and do I need it, and then you'll find that video. It's really great. So without mobile marketing, you'll miss out on clients who might walk into your business with a coupon. You know, on Google Maps, you can have a place and you can make a coupon, and then they can walk in. Of course, Groupon uses these coupons. I walked in recently to a place and just showed them my coupon and got my tea. So you'll miss out on that, and then you probably won't be prepared when mobile usage outpaces the internet very, very soon. Now, in terms of taking advantage of the web marketing you're doing, you want to analyze what you've done, and Google Analytics is my favorite. There are lots of different analytic tools. Google Analytics is free. All you need is a Google account, and then sign up for Google Analytics, and you can see how people are finding you, what keywords they're using, what sources they're linking to you from, what browsers they're using, and how long they stay, and what pages they go to, and when they bounce out of your site. And it's just an enormous amount of information that is extremely valuable to take advantage of so you can tweak your campaigns. Now we're going to talk briefly about converting from your clients, from prospects into clients, which is what this is about, really. So landing pages are useful. A landing page is a page on your website or on your server that just does one thing. It may not have the navigation, it may not have the template, it may not even look like it's in your website, but it talks about one product, one service, or one giveaway, and makes it very clear what the user has to do. Very clear, with calls to action. Click to download the free report, right? And you can do multiple landing pages. Let's say you do have a pay-per-click campaign that links to a landing page. You could do 2 landing pages and 2 ads linking to different landing pages, and you can test the ads for effectiveness. You can test the landing pages for effectiveness. It's a good thing to do, and the calls to action are just critical on all of them. Every page on your site should have a call to action, actually. Everybody that's surfing the web has ADD, you can figure, right? And needs to be told what to do. We do need to be told what to do. Get started. Buy now, right? Sign up. Use action verbs and tell people what to do. Customized thank you pages are really handy. Because when somebody has done what you want them to do, whether it's to buy something or sign up for your newsletter or download something, it's nice to have a page that has even a video of you thanking them, or your voice and audio of you thanking them and reassuring them that they're going to get this at this time, or they will hear from you by a certain time. It really is good to personalize and authenticize your website so that people feel they're dealing with a real person and not just a robot. So this is my website, and you can see I've got this sign up form. If you don't sign up in the evil pop-up, you can sign up anywhere, any page on my site on the upper right, and I offer free information, tips, and resources. And I also have a Get Started button. I have several on this home page, but I also have one on every page. And I have to say, I've been kind of shocked at how well this is working. First, the email newsletter sign up pop-up, I think, is the main benefit for me in terms of registrants on my subscribers to my email list. But the Get Started buttons are really taking people to my contact page and getting started with me. It's working. Google Alerts is a wonderful tool to help the people come to you, to help information come to you so that you don't have to do too much research. So let's say that you sell lavender lotion and you want to know when people are talking about lavender lotion online so that you can engage and link back to your lavender lotion page, right? So you can go to Google Alerts and say, yeah, let me know whenever there's a discussion about lavender lotion. And you'll get an email and you'll click on it and you'll go to that discussion and you'll see if you can engage in that discussion and maybe put a profile up on that forum that has a link back to your website. And if you do engage in the forum, the last thing you want to do is sell, okay? You want to give valuable information. So you want to have a blog about lavender lotion, and then you want to be linking people from the forum that you just went to because they're talking about lavender lotion, maybe to a very useful blog post that you've done, or maybe you haven't done a blog post, but once you read the forum, you realize that you have something to say. You can put it in a blog post on your blog, and then you can link to it from the forum, okay? So every time there's a discussion, you get notification from Google Alerts. And when there's news, now, what if a journalist is writing about a lavender farm or something, and you realize that journalist would be a fabulous connection for you for your business? And so you find that journalist's Twitter page and Facebook page and LinkedIn, and if possible, without being pushy, well, you can certainly follow the Twitter feed, and you can certainly request a friend, and then you can start responding. And responding in a really intelligent, sensitive, discreet way that's not pushy, but lets this person know about you and maybe start thinking about you in terms of writing about you. Or blogs, right? So you want to be notified when there's a blog post that has lavender lotion in it, and then you get to link to that blog post, and then you get to engage. If there's a commenting function, you can comment. Maybe they let you put a signature, which has a link to your website, and you are not selling. You're sharing valuable information, okay? These are powerful ways to build trust, and an easy way in the sense that the information's coming to you in your email. You don't really have to work at it. Without Google Alerts, you will lose an opportunity to engage in ways that are kind of in the moment. What's happening out there? What are people talking about out there? And of course, trends in your industry that you might miss out on, and basically building relationships with journalists, right? Journalists, powerful. Okay, it's overwhelming. I know it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming to me. It was pretty overwhelming just coming up with this talk in a way that I thought might chunk things down for you and make it feel possibly doable. With that in mind, I want to give you a little automated vision, and I want you to pretend that you're a stucco contractor in Santa Fe. And you told Google, let me know whenever somebody writes about Santa Fe stucco. And you got an alert from Santa Fe stucco. And then you said, okay, it's time for me to write this blog post I've been thinking about, traditional versus synthetic stucco. And you go to your website, you write your blog post, and you post it. And then I've been using something called Hootsuite, which lets me do post across multiple platforms at once. So let's say you've got Hootsuite, and you make a link to your new blog post, and you put it in Hootsuite, and it automatically puts it in Twitter and LinkedIn. It could also put it automatically in Facebook. Facebook isn't as in love with automatic posting, so you might want to copy and paste that in manually. You can take the blog post and rewrite it as a newsletter, right? And you can copy and paste into Facebook the link to the blog post, and you can click the alert Santa Fe stucco that you got from Google, and you can follow it, and then you can engage with that discussion or blog or whatever, and link back to the new blog post you just did. So I just wanted to give you a sense that, say, one alert can kind of domino a series of steps that you take that aren't that intense, right? So that it's calling you to action rather than you feeling like, okay, I have to schedule this and I have to schedule that. But let it trigger you from your email, and then go ahead and take these steps and then wait for the next alert. Maybe go and tweak your alerts every so often so they're more appropriate as time goes by. All right, resources I would like to share aside from all the URLs I've given you. HubSpot is one of my favorite. It's a marketing software company, and they let you use their software for free for a month. I think it's a month, for a while. You can sign up. Now they keep offering me books, free books, and if you sign up for their newsletter, you will get offers for free ebooks, and they're good ebooks. And one day I thought, I'm going to search for their page with all the ebooks, and I found it. So this is the URL where all their books are. And I wanted to give you a feel for how many there are. And I also, must warn you that when you find one that you want, no matter how many books you download, you have to fill out a form that's substantial. It's not just your email address, and then you get the book. So, it's not free totally, but it's free financially, and they're wonderful books, and they're always coming out, and I recommend that you go to that website. Now, for this particular talk, which is in May of 2012, I'm suggesting that you jump in on something that's already in motion, which is the Duct Tape Marketing Commit to Act series. And you pay $5 and you get invitations to webinars, and they're every few weeks or every month, and they're good. And they've been very useful for me, and they're very down to earth and easy to understand. And so I've given you the URL, and I recommend that you jump in on that. And if it's too late and you're watching this down the road, ducttapemarketing.com is an incredible resource. John Jantsch is my favorite marketer, and you can just go there, and I'm sure he'll have something going on. He always does. So for my attendees for this talk in May, I'm offering a coupon for half-price consultation. And this is my contact information, and I so appreciate you watching this. It's been an hour and a minute, and I hope it benefits you and that you feel you can rewind and take advantage of some of these ideas, and let me know how they work for you. Thank you.